I wanted to bring like everyone together from like walkers to runners to all different types of endurance and paces to like, hey, your next door neighbor could be a runner and you don't even know it because as a female, we always fear for our safety. So it's like we don't want to post much where we run, how like all of that stuff. So I made like a safe community for us females.
Together through their strife.
You're listening to Through Their Stride, a Texas born podcast sharing the stories of runners from here at home and far beyond. I'm your host, Sam Sutton, and today's guest is someone whose journey is the definition of flipping the switch. 2 years ago, Summer Jowers looked around her kitchen, tossed every bit of junk food out that she could find, and decided it was time to change her life. And what started out as a commitment to health quickly became something bigger: a love for running, a community built through encouragement, and a ripple effect that's touching women all across DFW. Summer didn't stop when it got hard. In fact, that's where her story gets the most real. She kept showing up mile after mile and eventually found herself training for her first marathon, which she recently completed at the Route 66 Marathon in Tulsa, Oklahoma, with members of her run club cheering her on and right beside her. She leads Girls Who Run DFW, a group that empowers female runners through connection, shared experience, and the reminder that you don't have to chase your goals alone. Today, she shares what it feels like to transform your lifestyle, to find your people, and to discover just how far you can go when you commit. Okay, so welcome to episode 12 of Through Their Stride. I'm your host, Sam Sutton, and I'm joined by Summer Jowers. She is the founder of Girls Who Run DFW. She's uh, starting to become a well-known individual in the running space in Fort Worth, and now you're a marathoner, so congratulations.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, how was that race? And I listened to a podcast that you were on a few weeks before the race, and it sounds like you've done some Route 66 races before. So how was the race overall?
So that was actually my first Route 66 race I've done. But the girls that lead it, Megan and Destiny, they have been wanting me to come run and run and run. And so finally I was like, okay, it'll be my first marathon. But people that have done it, they're like, there's rolling hills and like being in DFW are like, what does that mean? Like
Yeah.
there, in Fayetteville, those are very incline hills, but in Dallas Fort Worth, I don't know.
Yeah.
So I just kind of brushed it off, but there is rolling hills. So it was everything went wrong that could probably go wrong. So, it started with the night before. I did my long runs here in Argyle,
Okay.
and I found out the night before the marathon that my Garmin was off by 3 minutes on my pace in 3 miles. So instead of doing 22 miles, I did 18 miles. Instead of doing a 9 minute mile, I did 10:30 to 11. And I was trying to go for a sub four. So I'm glad I saw that because if not, I probably would have been tapped out by mile like five.
Yeah.
Um, but my husband, he did the half, so he paced it up until mile like 10 with me.
Uh-huh.
And then mile 11, my headphones died.
Oh gosh, I hate that.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, all right, cool. Like, we'll just play the music out loud. I was with a pacer. And then we were running along the river and it got super cold. And by that time, between your headphones and just kind of mentally already like clocked out, I was just like, I just want to be done.
Yeah.
I don't just someone like get me out of here. Like I was ready to be done. I was glad to finish. I did a 5:30.
Yeah.
Um but I walked the last 3 miles because I've had a knee injury and it really flared up with the rolling hills. So I finished at 5:30. I was glad to be done. We my husband drove me home straight after. I was like, "Get me home. I just want to be in bed." But I'm glad I did it. Like I am gonna do another one next fall for sure. Kind of more just on a time more than like a I mean it's a PR, but I really want to try to do a five
Yeah.
LI one. But so far everywhere that I've looked, all of them have hills. So I'm gonna take that serious.
Yeah, I'll give you a an idea for a race. It's not very hilly, but it is you can find yourself running solo a lot on this one, but it's called Marathon to Marathon, and it's out in far West Texas, kind of like Big Bend area.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and It's literally it starts at the sign that says marathon, and it's, the sign that says 26 miles to the town, and you just run from that sign to the town, and it's
Oh,
like
wow.
it's a like 70% flat and downhill,
Yeah.
but there's one small hill at, like, mile 22, and, of course, at mile 22, you're like, "Okay, this
Yeah.
is the last time I need a hill," but it is a really nice marathon, it's very
Okay.
quiet, it's very, straightforward. I've done that one, twice now. So if you're looking for something a little flat and in Texas, that'd be a good one.
Okay, good to know, yes,
Yeah.
because I mean, everyone asked me, they're like, how was it? And I was like, everything went wrong. Not just one, everything. So
Yeah,
I'm glad I did it though, but
yeah.
yeah, no, I'm good.
Was it, I'm curious, were there a lot of buildings? I was wondering if that may have been throwing off your Garmin or something.
So you kind of run through the neighborhoods and stuff, but I have been having Garmin issues and yeah, I'm waiting on my replacement one to get delivered. Hopefully before BMW next weekend. But
Yeah.
I've been having Garmin issues. So I have tattoos on my arms, so I have to wear their heart rate monitor to do my heart rate, and then I have to wear their armband for my sleeping so I can get my sleep stuff. And I love Garmin. I probably won't ever go back to like Apple where I came from, but my husband, we run the same route and he had no issues.
Yeah. Oh my
So
gosh.
yeah, I'm like, okay, well, go me.
Yeah.
So
I had a Apple Watch though. I came from Apple and went to Garmin a couple
same.
years ago, and my every time I'd run a half marathon with the Apple Watch, it'd be at, like, 10% battery at the end of the race,
Yeah.
and I'd always be like, "This thing can't handle a marathon, like, it's gonna die, like, 3 quarters of the way
Yes.
through," so
Yeah, and I charge my headphones, I wear the shocks, and people tell me, like, once it turns blue, like, take them off the charger. So I charged them and took them off the charger when I saw it turn blue, and literally by mile 11, it was like, "Goodbye," and I was like,
Oh.
"Okay," like, like,
Wait, we're not
now
done.
what? Like, so now I'm like, "Is there other headphones out there I need to look into?" Or, like, I mean, I'm not gonna do a marathon, like, every so often, but it's like, okay, between that and then you're running and you look down and I mean, when I finished, it said I did like 33 miles.
Oh, wow.
I
An
know.
ultra.
And I was like, well, I'll be all y'all. But I fixed it. So that way it would count as a marathon. But on Strava, it's like, okay, you did a 50K. And I was like, no, I didn't. No, I didn't. So I've been having issues for a while now. And so hopefully the replacement one they're sending me cross my fingers that I don't have issues because in Argyle, like it's not West Texas country land, but it's also not downtown Dallas City. So I'm like, if me and my husband run the same route, like why am I having issues? Like why me? So
Yeah. Yeah, I grew up in the DFW area, I grew up in, Keller, Texas, and,
okay.
it's like, I'm Uh, all every time in Dallas Fort Worth, I never have any Garmin related issues, so
No.
yeah, it's interesting. Uh,
Yes.
but yeah, so, I also wanna jump into your Girls Who Run DFW run club. So how did that, come about? What kinda fueled that in you to create a run club? Because that's a big deal, and it looks like it's gained a lot of traction.
It is. So in March, it's like I really did not plan for it to kick off the way, it did. I work a full-time job. Like I was like, I don't have time to like do like both of these things. So me and my husband, we started running, we did our first 5K December 2023.
Okay.
And it was always like me and him. So it was just me and him. We would match with chicken legs, whichever.
Mhm.
Um, and then I would post kinda on social media, like, like, "We did this race, we did that race, I got a PR here and there."
Yeah.
And some girls would be like, "Oh my god, like, I saw you at the race," but I was too nervous to come say hi, and I was like, "Please come say hi, because it's just me and my husband, like, I'm not with a group of people." So one race, Erica and then Sophia, they came up. They didn't know each other, I didn't know them, they introduced themselves, and I found out that they both each come to races alone.
Mhm.
And I was like, well, that's thankful for my husband, but that's like no fun because you show up to these bigger races like Irving and Amped and stuff. And like intimidating. So you
Yeah.
show up and you're like standing in a corner, like you're at a party and you're like just waiting for the start to happen.
Yeah.
So when I found out they came alone, I was like, man, like how many other people like are out there that come alone that might see me but don't want to come say hi because they're, shy, whatever.
Yeah.
And so I told them, I was like, I'm just going to put together like a Facebook group and just invite people to come join it. And I mean, I have met so many people that literally live down the road from me that run that I didn't even know about. That like now we can go run together if my husband doesn't want to go run with me. And so I wanted to bring like everyone together from like walkers to runners to all different types of endurance and paces to like, hey, your next door neighbor could be a runner and you don't even know it because as a female, we always fear for our safety. So it's like we don't want to post much where we run, how, like all of that stuff. So I made like a safe community for us females and I monitor it. You have to live in DFW. Um, you have to do DFW races. Like if you don't fill the questions out, it's automatically declined because I care about the safety of everyone that's in the group because I'm in it myself. And if I go run by myself or with a group of ladies, I don't want, other people knowing like, oh, okay, this is like where they're at and stuff like
Right.
that. So, and normally my husband, like if we do a group run, he comes with us and I tell people like, hey, if your husband wants to join, like he can just stay to the back of the pack kind of thing for safety purposes. Like I'm for that.
Yeah.
But we really, it's just all females that, I mean, we come together and it kicked off. I got some of the girls to actually go do like their first half marathons and stuff at Route 66 because I was like, "Hey, I'm going for my first. Does anyone want to join?" And
Yeah.
they did. So it was fun having like a community kind of from back home with you out of town. We had dinner together, talked about what we're gonna do, fueling and all that. So it's been nice. So
Yeah, that's really cool to, like, bring your community to your race, like, I
yeah.
yeah, that's not something many people get to do, so that's a blessing, I mean, and I think it speaks to you, like you said, you care about the group, you're very thorough in who joins, and who so you're, like, caring about their safety, and, yeah, it seems like you're very, like, open to whoever joins, so that's really awesome, like, I'm sure that people just kinda thought, "Well, yeah, I mean, if she's gonna be leading this, like, we're all gonna join her." So that's awesome.
Yeah, and it led me to doing, I feel like when I run races, I'm very competitive. Like I played volleyball, club volleyball, coached it before I got into running.
Yeah.
So I'm very competitive. So at races, like there was times like I would go, to the finish line and like there'd be a guy look at me and he's like trying to beat me. And I'm like, like,
Yeah.
okay, like, why are you trying to race me? Whether you saw the clock or not, so I'm like, why are guys trying to race us females? Like we're here to run, we're here to compete too, and I guess there's a history of, it's always been like a men's sport until, the females showed up. So I wanted to be like, look, like us females can do hard things, and I feel like it's harder for us to do this type of sport than it is for men.
Yeah.
Um, and so I did a female only race in September. And I was like, I don't care what backlash I get from guys. I like if you want to go do a men's race, go create it. Like I don't care. But
Right.
to have females to be comfortable like in their own skin, that might want to wear a sports bra, that want to talk to other females that are, a slower pace or whatever,
Yeah.
that's the race I wanted to have, and we had about 300 show up, and they were like, "We had so much fun. Are you doing it again?" And I was like, "No, that was a lot of work. Thank you, though."
Yeah.
Oh. But then everyone was like, "No, really, like, are you gonna do it again?" And people missed it, and so then I was like, I talked to my husband. I was like, "Look, like, why not? We do it once a month because we do races every weekend. We'll do it once a month. We'll do Fort Worth, Denton, Irving, kind of accommodate everyone."
Uh-huh.
And so our January race has about 215 people signed up right now. And I've reached out, I'm not afraid to be told no. So I've reached out to a lot of vendors, I mean, so many vendors have supported what like I've started and have sent so many goodies for me to like give out to them, for them to try. Like Nugs is my favorite fuel that works for my body. And they literally send us care packages where each person gonna have one packet, and it's been great seeing some of these vendors be like, "Hey, we'll send you free stuff for 250 people, not just 10." You know, and we have those at our races for, post-race refreshments, and stuff like that. And it's just been cool to see really like how big the community's grown and how interested people are with the female races because we can do female racing, themes and stuff like that. And we have breast cancer survivors, we have all different types of females that like you look at them, you're like, oh, okay, like you're just a runner, but like they're actually a breast cancer survivor and they're still going this strong at like 6 years old, It's just, I mean, hearing people's stories too is like it's very motivating to keep going because I'm 29, it's like I can keep this going for as long as I can, so it's neat. I really do love seeing like what comes from it.
Yes. Well, and I think it's really cool because, like you said, you've got so many people joining. You've got you got brands like kind of seeing you and like, hey, I want to be a part of this and I want to help and help this grow because, it's when you give of yourself to a community and be like, I want to do something for you guys. Like it's solely for you. Like
Yeah.
you do get obviously things out of it, but it's more of like, I just wanna help other people. I wanna, share this experience with other people. Um, that's where, like, a lot of people start to flocking because it's like, this is like, this person really cares, and that's why I was, wanting to do the podcast. It's like, I wanna tell people stories and, like, get, get their experiences out there because like, the more we share running and the more we share this, this sport and our experiences and our stories of what, how hard we're working, I think it becomes more approachable to more runners. So, do you
Yeah.
I guess my question is, have you seen a lot of, like, people kinda joining who are like, "Oh, I've never really run before. I'm just kinda looking in," but it seems like this is a really good space, comfortable space to kinda to join. Have you had a lot of people like that as well?
Yeah, so there's been people that are like, it's my first 5K or like it's my first time running, and so that's why I love the female races because, if you don't want to go to a bigger race because you're by yourself or whatever, you can feel more comfortable and confident at a female race for your first 5K or 10K. We have a lot of females that are coming off postpartum, and to see the community rally behind them, I don't have kids yet. Um, but when I do, like my biggest thing is like knowing you have these type of people that are battling the same thing you are, whether, it's having kids, you're running with the stroller, it's your first 5K or all this stuff. And I really encourage because I post all the time, like, yes, I do run, but I encourage walkers to join because we have so many walkers that are in our group that would love to have another person go on a walk, and people I feel like look at me and they're like, I'll be like, who wants to go on a run? And they're like, oh, you're too fast for me. And I'm like, but I can go your pace. Like, it's,
Yeah, yeah.
about going my pace. Like, I just want someone to run with. Like, that's what it is, And
Yeah.
so I encourage people to be like, if someone wants to go run, I'm for it. If you run a 10:30 pace, I'll run a 10:30 pace. If you
Yeah.
want to do walk running, I'll do a walk, like that's of it. And
Yeah.
so it is seeing a lot of people, and there's people I've had on social media from like high school and stuff that first came to my race and they're like, okay, look, like you encouraged me to get into running and it's so much fun and seeing what you bring to support us. My first 10K is going to be, your January race and like
Oh, cool.
stuff like that. So I put a lot of I don't do it for the money because obviously, when people start a business, like you don't get paid for it. But I do it to not only give back to the community because when I first started, it was me and my husband. Like we knew I was wearing alpha flies, I was wearing everything I saw on the internet until
Yeah.
I got to truly understand what I need to do to actually be like a runner.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I just I like thankful for like Amped Running, Angela, and then Run Irving. They have been so supportive of me too, letting me set up booths at like their races, because most people think like, "Oh, like you're competing, and it's like, I'm not here to compete. I'm here to offer a safe space and to know that like other running companies out there allow me to kind of incorporate into their area to spread more awareness. Like that's what I tell people too. I'm like, we're not here to compete. It's a business for everyone, but not for me. Like I
Mm.
spend money out of my own pocket to like get stuff made, to do goodie bags for everyone, to reach out to vendors for, to do sponsorship. Like I'm doing it for y'all, not for me. And so that's I hope people see that because people are probably like, oh my God. And it's like, no, I'm paying stuff out of my own pocket for to have the best medals, to have a photographer, to have, the fun swag, I mean, because I want them to know, like, hey, like, even though it might be a smaller race than running, a 2,000 people race, like, we still can have the fun and all the fun swag and the vendors and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I saw the medals that y'all had on yesterday's run, and I was like, "Those are so cool." Like the
Yeah.
Wonder Woman, like, I was like,
Yes.
"That's
Yeah.
incredible how you've been able to do that and get really real legitimate medals for these races."
It's and it's fun because we can do girly races. So February's Once Upon a Run. I've done 2 Disney runs. They're so hard to get into. I've had a fundraise, but I love them. So I was like, why not bring Disney to DFW? And so Once Upon a Run, it's like Disney theme without Disney. It's just wear, your favorite costume or your favorite, fairy tale stuff. And it's so because it's like as a female, you love doing girly things and it just makes it more fun because you can wear the glitter, you can wear the tutus and no one's gonna look at you and be like, we're at a 5K, why are you wearing that? You know?
Yeah,
And I feel like there is a lot of stereotype out there with how fast you run, what you have to quote be the best, what you have
yeah,
to do to be this. And it's just like we're out here for the same reason, whether it's for weight loss, whether it's for a community, whether it's for mental health, like
yeah.
why can we all not just like enjoy it and like encourage one another?
Uh, yeah. I feel like, overall, the running space is very open, very approachable space, but there are, like, quite a bit of people who, are very rigid and very, it's like, they're like, "Why are you wearing super shoes? You're just going up
Right.
for, and your pace isn't fast enough for that." It's all that kind of stuff,
Right.
and we're like,
Yeah.
"Geez, let me do my own thing." Like, we're
Yeah.
all here doing our own thing and trying to better ourselves, like, so, yeah, that's awesome.
That's why like I love girls who run and just speaking for myself because I was the one that's like, okay, I need the alpha flies, I need this, I need this. But once I started learning like what I truly need, for myself and not what other people have or what they say you need to have, it's like it's a better understanding. So, like, for my marathon, I'm like, I don't care about going fast. Like, give me the Hoka Bondi 9s, give me the grandma tennis shoes with the cushion. Like, I
Yeah.
care about my knees. I don't care about the pace.
Yeah,
And I tell people, like, go to Fleet Feet, go do what, here's everything that I did wrong that I can give from experience because whenever you start buying all the expensive stuff and you start getting injuries, then you're like, okay, I'm giving up running because now I'm injured and I can't run. And then
yeah,
it kind of ruins it. And so for me, it's like I wear 2 shoes and I'm like, that's it. It's the Brooks and it's the Hokas.
yeah, there you go, and that's all you need.
Yeah. I mean, I'll get fast sometimes, but I mean, other times it's like, I mean, I don't even, in a sense, train. I do like runs on the weekdays, but it's just a run, whether it's an easy pace, a slow pace, a strength train. I'm not out here doing intervals. I'm not because I was starting out running every single day and I loved it, but that led to my injuries.
Yeah,
So now I'm like, as much as I want to be even faster, I care more about the long term of making sure my body's healthy and resting. I was doing no rest days. I was like, now we don't need those. And now I'm like, after my marathon, I did nothing but lay in bed. I ate whatever food I wanted, and I was like, no, okay, like I'm not trying to hurry up.
yeah, that's awesome. So, let's talk a little bit more about you and your journey. So, I guess start from the beginning. How did you grow up? What was life like, early Summer Jowers? And you said you played, volleyball growing up, so, yeah, how was that?
So I played volleyball probably since I was like YMCA days, so very young. We moved to Coppell my sophomore year, and in order to kind of make the volleyball team during tryouts, you had to go run a mile, and I was like, I don't want to play volleyball that much. Like I'm not worth a mile. I'll see y'all later. So I stuck to club volleyball. I played 2 years out of junior college. And then I started coaching once I was done with that. And after me and my husband got married, I woke up one day and was like, I need to get rid of my weight. Like the eating habits aren't where they need to be. Like I need to change. Like I was finally to the point where I was like, I'm miserable.
Yeah.
And I started my weight loss journey. We went and bought a used Peloton bike that I committed to. I went full on like if you're gonna go eat Whataburger, eat it outside the house. I cleaned the fridge out, the pantry out. Um, and I really just knocked it into gear of like, okay, if I'm gonna do this, like you're doing it. And once I got all my weight and stuff done, I was like, let's go train for the turkey trot, the mile turkey trot. That's all we're doing. So I trained for that. And we did the mile and we about died. I mean, our lungs were like, we're like, okay, our lungs are hurting. He's like, I need my inhaler. We were looking at the people doing the 5Ks and 10Ks and we're like, they're crazy. No, thank you. Like, no.
Yeah.
And one day at work, I was like, December 2023, I was like, hey, I signed us up for a 5K. He's like, I'm sorry, what? And I was like, I don't know. Like, it's another goal. Like, let's just try it.
Do
And
it. Yeah.
yeah, what do we have to lose? Like,
Right.
you know? And so we started training for the 5K and stuff. And my goal was just to run it. I just want to run full on 3.1 miles. And from then, I mean, just became known on social media. We did races all the time. We have met so many good friends through races and through the running community.
Yeah.
And now looking back, I'm like, man, like old Summer would have been like, what is wrong with you? Like, are you okay? Like, and I mean, my life just did a complete like 360. I care about what I eat, what I put in my body. Um, I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's the week of marathon. And so carb loading, I was like, what am I going to do to carb load now? Like, and as a runner, you look at some people and they're eating 2,500 calories, as
Mhm.
someone that comes from a health journey, we're like, okay, like we don't normally eat that many calories, even though we're running. And
Yeah.
so that's been the difficult of calories, running, what I need, what I don't need, and then obviously making sure like, I can't have gluten and I can't have dairy, and it's like, well, then how am I going to get my protein in? How am I going to get, the correct carbs that I need to run, without having the flare ups. And so
Yeah.
it's still been a learning journey for me. I mean, there's times where you catch me eating a bag of baked hot Cheetos because it's not going to kill one day.
No.
Um, but it's definitely like I feel like a lot of people as a runner think like, okay, like you have to eat this certain diet, you have to eat this many calories. And honestly, like I probably eat on a good day 14 to 1,800 calories.
Oh.
And I can fuel myself on my half marathons and I still can go out and still run, So you don't have to shove $2,800 2,800 calories down your throat again to be that runner that you see on social media. And that's one of the reasons like I post on social media a lot is like I'm real, I'm authentic. Here's what I'm eating, here's what I'm snacking on, here's what I'm cooking.
Yeah.
Because you do look at some other runner influencers that are running marathons every weekend or, back to back.
Yeah.
And you're like, how? I mean, I finished my marathon and my knee was swollen. I'm like, how do people even run one like the next month?
No.
I
Yeah.
It's not realistic to me. I mean, and that's just whether, you're a pro at it or not. Like, you look at the elites and they're not doing that.
Yeah.
They're doing, I feel like once, maybe every quarter, if not every year, because
Yeah.
it's not realistic for your muscles and your body to take on all of that.
Yeah. Yeah. You see the typical run influencer and they're like, they'll have a marathon and then 2 weeks later they'll have another half marathon
Yeah.
and they, keep stacking it up and you're like, that's just gonna get you injured. Like, and I'm sure you
Yeah.
are injured and you're just not showing that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
No, 100%.
Yeah, and, I was like I don't know if you know who Emma Bates is, she's a pretty elite marathoner, and I'm a big fan of hers, and I was like, I haven't seen her race, like, in a while. I was wondering if like, what she was up to, and then she raced Valencia yesterday, and I was like, "Oh, it's because she's doing, like, 1 or 2 a year." You know what I mean? Like, she
Yeah.
ran Boston in April, she runs Valencia in December. I mean, like, the elites,
Yeah.
they don't do races
Back
at
to
the
back
root.
to back.
It's not feasible. I mean, it's not.
No.
Yeah.
No. And I tell people all the time, like, I ran a marathon about a week or so ago, and I'm doing the BMW half marathon. I'm doing the 5K and a half, and I mean, my body's still healing. We did a group run yesterday of just 3 easy miles and my kneecap, I mean, it felt like how it did at the marathon. And so I'm like, oh, it's still not better yet?
Yeah.
And it really does take, 3 to 6 weeks for your, like, your internal muscles and stuff to heal, and as impatient as I am, I'm like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do?" But it's like now it's like in my head, I'm like, is it worth going and running? Like I had a 5K this morning and I was like, it's not worth going to try to do a 5K when I have a half marathon next weekend and I need to really prep for, and
Yeah.
just kind of really listening to your body. And I'm very stubborn. I am not the one to listen to my body. But I think the marathon really humbled me because I was like, no, you need to listen to your body. You need to make sure you're recovering and you're resting and you're stretching because if not, like, unfortunately, like your quads and your hamstrings and stuff, like that's what I've learned throughout running is like it all connects to your knees.
Yes.
And it's like if you don't take care of any of that, like you're never going to be fully healed. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, okay, like let me stretch this morning in recovery boots and it's like when really I really wanted to be running, but
Yeah. It's not always the right thing to do.
yeah, I don't want an injury. I
Yeah.
really, I've had them, and I'm still dealing with it, and it's one of those bone bruises, and I've never set it out to let it fully heal, so it's just constantly aching. But after the marathon, I think it really irritated it,
Yeah.
and so now I'm like, okay, let me just relax. Like, you have the half marathon. Like, there's nothing to like really push for.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
And then going back to your weight loss journey, so do you remember kinda like the exact moment that you decided to make the the switch, the change, and what was that moment like? What kind you're like, "Okay, I got it." What made you say, "Okay, I gotta change?"
So as we came back from our honeymoon, so part of that, I was working out with a trainer before our wedding, and he's great, but like it was me. I could not put the food down. So I would go do a workout with him, and then on my way to work, go get Chick-fil-A breakfast. And I'm like, this is not, it's not what needs to be done. So I was like, look, like as much as I want to keep, working out with you, like until I fix my issues, like it's just not feasible.
Mhm.
So we went on our honeymoon and we got back from our honeymoon and I just woke up one day and I'm only 5 foot, so I carried it very heavy in the face and in my belly for being how short I am.
Mhm.
And I would I just woke up and I was like, as a female, I'm like, I can't even suck it in a photo without like you really can tell like I'm not even sucking it in.
Yeah.
And my starting weight was about 185. I've always kind of been about 150-ish. So I got to 185 and I think finally I was like, okay, like enough's enough. Like
Uh-huh.
quit eating Captain Crunch at 10 p.m. at night.
Yeah.
Um, and quit drinking Dr. Peppers every hour of the day. And, once I got down to my goal weight, I was able to do more cardio and stuff. So I was able to get more weight off of me
Yeah.
with my food choices that I made and stuff. And I really cannot stress about like whenever you get all the sugar and all the junk out of your system, how much your body truly feels. I
Yeah.
mean, I was like, once I lost it, like I was not really inflamed in my face. I lost it in my belly. I lost it everywhere else. And I was like, not only do I feel lighter, like I'm sleeping better, I'm breathing better. Like,
Yes.
and as much as the times my mom said, Summer, quit hiding food underneath your bed or quit getting on I wish I would have listened back then, but thankfully I was still able to start it in my 20s
Yeah.
versus being like 55 years old, realizing, okay, now I really need to because it really is affecting my health.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome, and, like, for me even, my big thing is, like, beer, right? I love beer, I'll, like,
That's my husband. He is
yeah.
not going to a race unless he gets my beer tickets.
Yeah, and, I'll drink, like, sometimes, on Friday night or something or 2 or 3 beers, and I'll try to run on Saturday morning, I'm like, "Oh, I just feel, like, sluggish, I just feel, heart rate's higher than it needs to be,"
Yeah.
and then the next week, I'll not drink anything that night, and wake up the Saturday morning, I'm like, "Man," like, I was
Yeah.
it's like a night and day different feeling when you're
Yeah.
taking care of your body and
And
you're
it's,
feeding it what it needs.
yeah, and it's crazy. So, like, like, I'll have a Dr. Pepper sometimes at dinner. I'll be like, "Oh, let me have a sip." And I'm like, just like it still does not taste right to where I'm like craving it. And because I drink nothing but water. And so whenever we would go, like, whenever I did my long runs, I'm like, okay, a McDonald's Coke, like, that sounds great right now. Refreshing. My body probably needs it. So I would go have a McDonald's Coke,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't like beat myself up because I'm like, you just ran 18 miles
Yeah.
and one Coke is not gonna like
Gotta kill you.
wash away everything. And I'm very, very strict on myself to where like I'm like we don't eat out during the week. If we do eat out on the weekend, like I'm very picky on stuff. And then I finally realized, like, look, like having one roll at Roadhouse or having one movie popcorn candy with a side of water, like it's not gonna erase your running. It's not gonna bring all the weight back. Like it's not gonna do that. And so finally, I was like, okay, like let me lighten up some
Mhm.
to where I still can enjoy like a bag of little hot Cheetos or some Cheez Its without like, okay, I need to go run now because I just ate junk food.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be it's what that could be a slippery slope of, like, where running becomes the thing you do to, like, run
Yeah.
after bad stuff, you know what I mean? And that could be a mental, like,
Yeah.
dangerous mental space, so
Yeah.
it's a
No. And
balance.
nowadays, I mean, it's just my body's just changed from the weight loss, so I just don't eat as much in general. And so every time we run, my husband's like, "Let's go get breakfast," and I'm like, "I'm not hungry."
Yeah.
He's like, "What do you mean you're not hungry?" I'm like, "My body just reacts differently." Like after the marathon, I burned 2,100 calories, and I just was like, not hungry. And he's like, "Well, you need to eat something." And I'm like, I'm just not hungry. So, I mean, I did have a Dr. Pepper with a corn dog, on the way home because I know I needed it.
Yeah.
But I was like, everyone, people do run to eat,
Yeah.
but for me, I run more, really not even to eat. I run more for I don't know, I just love it. Like, I don't wanna say it helps me mentally, I don't wanna say it helps me with food, like, it all does help me all around, but I truly love waking up at 4 AM, going to see people at the start line, connecting with people, seeing people on the course, "Hey, good job," I just love that, like, community and stuff of it, and that's really why I love to run.
Yeah, that's awesome, and I was gonna ask, so, you ran the mile, Turkey Trot Mile, and then, it when did you and your husband you're like, "Man, I'm not sure if I wanna do this again." Then you do the 5K, and then obviously you kept running to where you are now, but when was it that you felt like, "I really love this, like, I love running, I love this motion, I love being out here and seeing everybody." When did it click? You're like, this is really for me."
I wanna say probably a few months into it. So once I was posting like on social media and in the running groups and stuff like, hey, me and my husband, we were at this race, and people were like, oh my gosh, I saw you there. People then started coming up to us at races and be like, oh, hey, you're Summer. I follow you on Strava. Or hey, I'm like, okay, I am making a difference. So like not only am I making a difference, it was like, I love the fact that people are truly out here like, hey, I'm paying attention to you and you're helping me run or you're helping me get through the hard days. So it's like, it motivates me to just keep posting the good, the bad, the ugly. Like, I'm not going to post every good run. I'm not going to post, like every good thing I'm eating. I'm going to post the bad runs, the bad food I'm eating, or snacking on. And
Yeah.
I mean, probably 3 months into running, I mean, I was just like, I love this." And then I'm a very goal-driven person.
Mhm.
So when I would set goals of like, "Okay, a 30-minute 5K, great, got it. Okay, 27-minute 5K, okay, got it. Okay, I think I'm ready for a 10K. Okay, I think I'm ready for a half. Okay." And then finally, I mean, I was like, "I think I wanna do a marathon."
Yeah.
And my husband's like, "What?" And I was like, I wanna try it. Like, I really do.
Yeah.
And I mean, leading up to the marathon, when I would do my long runs during the week, I would get emotional because I'm
Yeah.
like, never would I have thought I would literally be in this position, this body, and running 18 miles, let alone running 26.2 miles. Like, I look back at pictures and stuff, and I'm just like, wow, like I'm really glad I changed.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know if you're, like, a religious person or not, but I feel like that's, like, a very spiritual thing, like,
Yeah,
sometimes when I'm out there running, like, a 20-mile run and, like, things are going really well, and I think about, like, where I was, like, a couple years ago, just trying to figure it out and figure out running, and I'm, bonking at mile 13, and I'm just like, kinda tearing up in the middle of, like,
yeah,
60 miles in, you're like, "Man, this is
yeah.
incredible."
I mean, so my my music goes from like old timey hip hop to, some rock to country to worship music. And I posted during my marathon post, I posted that I think it was mile 23 or something. A song called This Is How I Fight My Battles came on. And I was running and I'm like sobbing because I'm like, man, like this is truly how some people fight their battles, and you don't know what they're doing, or what they go through. And I was like, so it was just constantly like, this is how I fight my battles is constantly. And I was like, this is probably how I fight my battles, and I probably don't even realize it. Like when I'm running, even though it brings me joy, I'm probably running off a stressful day that I had at work. But to me, I'm just running to run because I want to go do a Peloton class or whatever. And yeah, I mean, and then at the finish line, I was just sobbing because I was glad to be done. I was like, there's the finish line. I did it. Call me a marathoner. Like, you're never gonna I'm talking about it forever. Yeah. And then the fact that I'm like, okay, I ran 26.2 miles. I started December 2023. We are in November 2025. And all my injuries, all my learning experiences, and all of this kind of led up to this exact moment.
Yeah.
And now my husband, he's like, "You want to go do an ultra?" And I was like, "Why do I got to do the hard?" No, like you could go. It's your turn for a marathon. Like
Yeah.
you go do it now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
that's awesome. And you had said originally that your goal was sub 4 hours. And I've seen like some of your times you've run, I think you ran a sub 50 10K, is that correct? And then
Yes, and then I've ran like I think when I was in Arkansas, I did like a 21-minute 5K, which is like the fastest I've ran. And most of those times on my faster times, it's because I've eaten good.
Mhm.
And I've noticed that, okay, like fuel really does play a part into it. And I guess when I did my long runs, before Garmin said I was completely off, yeah, my 22 miles that was logged said it was like a 9:30 pace. I was in zone two, and I was like, okay, cool. I'm going for a sub four. Like, I can do it. And I think once I realized like the actual pace I was going, I'm like, okay, that made sense why I was in zone two because I was running a 10-minute, pace for the long miles.
Yeah.
I think mentally, like, it really did mess with me because then it's like, well, how accurate is everything else that I've logged, leading up to my marathon training, because I had a calendar, I was crossing it off. And I think I kind of got hard on myself because I was like, man, like, I could have done another longer and I could have done 20 miles. Like, if I thought I did 22 miles, I'm like, I'm not doing another long run. But
Yeah.
knowing I did 18, I was kind of like, dang, like, was I really prepared for this race and like that I thought I was? And, yeah, I finished, but it's like we all know when you're training and you're doing this and your runs are going right, you're eating right, you feel good, you're like, okay, I'm prepared.
Yeah.
And then the night before you realize like everything was totally incorrect, you're like, well then am I really prepared? Like
Man, that'd be such a like panic moment.
yeah. And I looked at my husband and I was like, well, my original goal was just to finish, and that's going to be my goal now. But I was like, if I would have tried to go out there to do a sub four at like a 9:30, 9:45 pace, I would have bonked literally at mile probably four or five.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way. And then, I mean, mentally, I would have had a longer way to get to the finish line versus at least, it didn't hit till like mile 13 when the mental kicked in. And then that's when I'm like, okay, I just finished.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, what I was gonna ask to kind of take me through the marathon, not mile by mile, but just throughout as it was going on. What was your thought? How did it feel? And, where was the moment you were like, "Oh, this is like I just gotta get through it," you know?
Yeah, no. So I started with the Pacers. It was a 10:45 pace,
Uh-huh.
um, up until mile 10 or 11. Then my husband left, and then that's when my headphones died. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna still run with them. I'll just play my music kind of out loud.
Yeah.
Um, and then I think it was probably mile between 13 to 14, I think, because I had two other friends running, and they were probably a few miles behind me. And I started to walk because I was like, my watch is off. Like, God forbid, like, you take a walk break,
Yeah.
and I FaceTime them and I was like, "How y'all doing?" They're having a time of they're taking shots, like they're feeling great. And I'm over it, they're like, "We're good, how are you?" And I just like break down crying again. And I was like, "What's wrong?" And I was like, mentally, like, I don't know if I was prepared, like I thought I was. And I think that's mentally eating me up because not only am I taking walk breaks, my watch is off. I don't know what's accurate. I don't know if anything is like, I don't know anything anymore. I'm just here running now.
Yeah.
And so I finally saw them, I think it was mile 16. And so we stopped and talked for a few. And then after that, I was like, okay, like just finish.
Yeah.
And we went through a park from mile 16 through 19. It was just a park. And I was like, no crowd support,
Oh
I
man.
mean, it was tough because I was like, there's no crowd support. You're kind of towards where you're not with the big groups anymore. So you're passing one to two people here and there.
Yeah.
And then you get to the city streets and all you see is a rolling hills and you're like, what?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, like, let's try it. So I like picked this guy next to me and he was kind of walking, running. And so I'm like, okay, just run past him and then get a little walk break. And then whenever he would pass me, I'm like, okay, now it's time to run. And I saw the 5 hour pacers went by me and I was like, cool, I'm going to stay with them, finish at 5. But then I caught on that they would do their walk breaks and then they would run a little bit quicker. And then by that time, like I was already burnt out mentally that I was like, I'm not like I'm not about to go try to run a 9:30 pace in order to have that walk break.
Yeah.
And so at that point I just did walk run intervals and then I called my husband. He was at the finish line and I was like, he's like, "Where are you at?" And I was like, "I think mile 24." He's like, "Okay, I'll come meet you." I was like, "All right, cool." And he was like, "You want to try to run?" I was at that point, my kneecap was so done that I
Yeah.
was like,
Heck no.
I mean, I can't.
Yeah.
Wow. Like, I can't. And I guess my tracker was off. So it said that I stopped. And so Megan, one of the race directors, called me and she was like, "Hey, are you good?" And I was like, "Yeah, why?" Like, people kept saying you're almost done. I'm like, "No, I'm not. Like, I'm at mile 23. Like, why do you keep saying I'm almost done?"
Yeah.
And I guess my tracker was off that it said like I was kind of ahead.
Mhm.
And then it stopped. And then so she was like, "Are you good?" And I was like, "Yeah, why?" I'm like, I'm right around the corner about to finish. She's
Yeah.
like, "Well, your tracker stopped." And I was like, "Oh no, like I'm good."
Yeah.
So that kind of like was kind of freaking people out, family members and stuff. And I was like, I'm I'm walking at this point. Like
Yeah.
I probably that's why it stopped because it's
Yeah.
slowed down, but I'm still here.
Yeah. But it sounds cool that you had, like, a lot of your running people back home from Fort Worth with you, and then you were an
Yeah.
ambassador for the race, and you had a lot of
Yeah.
support from them in that way, and then your family as well, but so I feel like that's where you pour out all this love and experience to the running community, and that was kind of a moment where, like, they poured it out to you.
Yeah.
Would you agree? And what was that feeling like, crossing the finish line, having everyone, in your corner?
So I think it was nice knowing like even a race director, was calling to check in on me.
Yeah.
So knowing that I had friends and family that were tracking me from out of state, they're texting me saying, "Hey, like, how are you doing? Good job. We're tracking you," kind of thing. So it was nice knowing because, I always feel like I check in on everyone else, like, "Hey, you got it. Good job. Like, how are you feeling?"
Yeah.
So to have that support of like, my husband like, "Hey, I'll come meet you in mile 24." The race director be like, "Are you good? Do you need anything? Like, I'm holding your medal at the finish line. We're waiting on you." So it was nice to know, like, okay, like I do have a crowd around me, and it might not be my BFF. It might, it's a total stranger. And it's nice knowing, like, again, that's what the running community is about is supporting everyone, whether you know them or not.
Yeah.
Um, just because marathons are tough.
They are.
And I tell people, like, I don't care don't let anyone lie to you and say that they're not tough. They are tough in some type of way,
Mhm.
whether it be mentally, physically, emotionally, you
Yeah.
know, like it was tough. And I think going into it, I kind of hyped myself up like
Mhm.
your long runs are good. You're doing great. You got this. And then when everything hit at once, I think that's when like the mental took over and it's like, eh,
Yeah.
now your knees hurt. Now your legs hurt. Now your feet hurt. Now it's
Yeah.
cold. You're not warm anymore. And I was just like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh, Marathons are tough even when they're like you're having a good day because I had my best race this past July. I was hoping to break
uh-huh.
4 hours, and you know, everything was going well, but like even still, it was a mainly all downhill race, and
Okay.
I could feel it. Like I have a previous knee injury from 2018 where I dislocated my knee, and
Yeah.
yeah, I
Downhills are not good.
no, and just on that front part of the knee, like the whole time, I was like,
Yeah.
I'm in so much pain.
Yeah,
you know,
no, I found out whenever I had the knee injury that I actually have a torn meniscus. And I guess that's probably from volleyball. I have no idea because it's nothing's ever bothered me, and people
yeah,
say running's hard on your knees. I like, well, I'd rather it be hard on my knees than me have like a bad back sitting on my couch, that's where it's like pick your poison.
right.
Um, so whenever I KT taped it and stuff, I made sure to, foam roll all that. And once I got to the finish line, we got in the car, I took my KT tape off and it was so swollen. I was like, I hope I don't, I was like, I hope I did not do any more damage. Like, I hope I did not just injure myself even more
Yeah.
because I was running extra miles. Because when I was doing my marathon training runs, I wasn't having knee and like issues. Like everything felt fine. But the rolling hills and, you gotta have the quad muscles, you gotta have your hamstring, like all that. I think just with everything so tight and locked up
Yeah.
that I think it did not help. And so when I got home, I'm like chat GPT, like, here's a picture of my knee. Is it gonna get better? Like, here's what I did. Like, tell me
Yeah.
I'm gonna be okay. Because I'm
Yeah.
like, don't tell me I did my first marathon and now I'm like toast.
Ruined it. Yeah.
So gosh, thankfully the swelling went down. I was able to walk after day 3. Um, and now you're just dealing with your typical like kneecap issues.
Yeah.
But I mean, I did not realize truly how, I guess, inflamed your muscles stay
Mhm.
after running a marathon. I mean, the recovery time. And I'm like,
A
oh,
lot.
yeah.
Yeah, my coach always tells me, she's like, we need to make it more popular, like popularize taking 2 weeks off after
I
running
know
off.
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah. Stretching.
a lot of people will say, like, "Run the day after," and it's like she's like, "No, run 2 weeks after," and I didn't take her advice, like, a week after I'd been just missing running, and I was like,
Yeah.
"I'm just gonna go run a mile." I was like, "I'm gonna run a mile around my neighborhood, easy pace, don't worry about it." And at the
Yeah.
end, my lower back hurt, my knee hurt, my ankle hurt, and I was like, "Oh, I'm not ready."
I know, and people talk about that, like, they go and be like, "Okay, it's a week later, like, go and run or whatever." So, like, I was one of that. I was like, my knees feel better. I'm gonna go do, like, a jog on the treadmill. It's been a week." And so I'm running on the treadmill. I was like, "Okay, like, I feel good. I'm back to it." And then we go and do, like, all last week, I was like, "I'm still gonna do, like, some Pilates, like, I don't wanna do weights just yet." Stretch for sure. And when we did our group run yesterday, even with KT tape, my knee, I mean, was just aching. And I was like, maybe I'm not ready yet. Like, even though, like, there's no swelling and stuff, like, maybe I'm not as ready as truly thought I was. And running on the treadmill obviously is different than outside. So it's like, maybe it felt better on the treadmill versus outside. And so, I asked chat, because we're like this when it comes to,
Yeah,
any type of issues.
I totally agree.
And
I
chat,
feel the same way.
I'm like, this is where I'm having pain.
Yeah.
And oh, I guess my light died. But chat was like, it was like, look, even though you ran a marathon and your swelling's down, it's still 3 to like 8 weeks of like your tissue repair and your muscles. And I was like,
Yeah.
I have a half marathon next weekend. Like, can I get there? Like,
Yeah.
so it really is. I tell people all the time, my husband, I'm calling him out. He never stretches. And I don't know, he's pretty stubborn too, but he never stretches. And I'm like, I've gone through the injuries. I've gone through, like, can you just listen to your wife? Because all you do is drink beer. You don't stretch. Like, maybe I need to drink some beer because I'm like, what? I'm like, dude, like, why is it always me?
Yeah. Yeah. That's funny. But I was also gonna say, I don't know if you noticed it, but like your heart rate and your like aerobic system even take a long time to kind of like recover after a marathon. Like I was doing, easy runs, right, a few weeks afterward, and I'd look at my watch and my heart rate would be like 150 something. And my general like zone 2 is like 115 to 131.
Oh,
And,
okay.
and it'd be like 152. And I'm like, and I'm breathing heavy, you know what I mean? And I'm like, what is
Right.
going on? Like, I was like, this is supposed to be my relaxed pace, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I can barely get through it. So, I mean, everything takes a long time.
Well, and people talk about, tapering, a week or two. And I was like, like, I'm gonna taper, but I'm not gonna not run. Like I'm gonna run a mile here, 2 miles, whatever. But I'm really not gonna overdo it. But that whole like actual week leading up to the race, my recovery was so bad. Like
Mm,
I was in the red. It says I wasn't recovered. My heart rate was elevated. And I'm like, I
yeah,
haven't done anything. Like
yeah,
I truly have not. Like I'll get better recovery going and running a half marathon, and recover better. But like leading up, not doing anything, I was like,
yeah,
that is just, I mean, it's just crazy. And then after, I was like, okay, like I'm gonna be -1 for like 2 weeks. Like my
yeah,
Garmin's gonna be like, no, sorry.
yeah,
And probably like 4 days after, I finally got my HRV back, and everything else was kind of up there. And I was like, all right, cool. But I mean, it
Well,
was just like, I was like, is this how taper goes? Because
yeah.
I'm not ready.
Yeah, I feel like the Garmin kinda mocks you too for me, like, after the race, your HRV takes, like, 2 weeks to actually get back to, like,
Yeah.
the right where it needs to be, like, right where it needs to be, and, like, every time you wake up, and it says your training readiness is still at a 2, and you're like, "What is going on?"
No, literally. And
Yeah.
for me, my Garmin doesn't track because like I said, I have, tattoos. My Garmin doesn't track my heart rate all the time. And so I have to sleep with the armband. But I'm like, I don't even know. Like I literally have to listen to my body because my Garmin is so unfortunately defective that like if I go run a half marathon or if I go and run my marathon, it doesn't pick up my heart rate in the middle of the night.
Yeah,
It's not gonna really give me proper stuff. And so I'm like, I guess I'm good. It says I'm recovered, on day 4. Like
yeah,
I have no idea. And again, I love Carmen, but it's like I just need to know my sleep, my pace, and all that. Like not I'm not asking for much for a $500 watch. I'm
yeah.
just asking for some accuracy because granted, I feel like many runners do kind of depend on that. And meanwhile, my husband's waking up and he's like, my sleep score was a 95. And I'm
That's
like, cool, mine was like a 60, but
yeah.
thank you.
I didn't know the tattoos, like, threw off the Garmin. That is so interesting.
Yeah. And I emailed them. So I guess underneath like the light, and I think Corso does it too, and I'm sure Apple Watch, but they say the way that it picks up your heart rate based off the light, the tattoo ink, because I guess it has like the metal or something in it, it interferes with it.
Okay.
And so I got the armband, but I have tattoos all up and down my arm. So I'm like, is the armband gonna work?
Yeah.
And you're like, well, if it doesn't, put it on your leg. And I'm like, okay, well, my left leg has tattoos on it. So I guess my right leg's gonna have to be blank just so I can get like a sleep score.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how else to track. I mean, it's nice. I do have the Ultra Human ring, so it tracks my sleep and stuff.
Mhm.
But Ultra Human and Garmin don't talk to each other.
Yeah.
And I wish they did because if I do my workout on my Garmin, it doesn't like it will say like, "Hey, you did a workout, between 7:30 and 8 a.m." But
Mhm.
it doesn't track like how Garmin does a workout. And I wish it did because then this has given me the most accuracy because it can read on my hand and it stays on.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, if I was smart enough to come up with some type of invention, I would, but
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah. I'm not an engineer, and every time an engineer talks to me about what they do, I'm like, "Huh?"
Yeah, I'll just keep buying Garmin stuff
Yeah, for
to
sure.
stay.
Awesome. So what's next for you? You said you're doing the BMW Dallas half and 5K, but, what's kind of like the next 365 days look like for you?
So we are going to Houston in January to do their half. We've never done. We're going to Austin in February to do their half because we've never done.
Oh,
Um,
I'll see you there. I'm doing the Austin Marathon.
okay, well, I heard they have some hills,
I
so
do, yes.
here we go.
Yeah.
So we like to travel as much as we can to do some runs. But I was like, dude, we had never gone to Austin or Houston. Like, let's do theirs. And then in March, I think we're gonna do another half in Arkansas. But I know for sure next fall, I should know by end of December what marathon I'm gonna do next fall. But January, February, March, April, May, and June is our Girls Who Run DFW races.
Oh, cool.
And so I'll be hosting those. We're doing it once a month. And so I'll be kind of hosting those and doing all of that stuff beside from running.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think I have one more marathon in me. And then I think the halves are just my sweet spot.
Yeah. That makes sense. I mean, marathons are like, I can do them. I try to do one a year just because I do like the prep of it. And,
Yeah.
uh,
The accountability I like
yeah.
too.
Yeah. But I've done them. I've done it where I've done two a year and like your body is just fried afterward. Like I did my first marathon back in February of 2023
Okay.
and I did that one in 6 hours and 50 minutes.
Okay.
Because I didn't know anything about like fueling. I trained
Oh,
poorly. I didn't take any like nutrition the entire run. And all I did
oh
was
gosh.
hit the aid stations and I was like every time I'd get the aid station, it would be water with noon electrolytes. And
Okay.
I never got real water, so by like mile 14, I just felt like salt, like, bloated, and
Oh yeah.
then I just had no food in me, and I was just, like, trying to get this was Austin, and, the last, like,
Oh gosh.
6 miles of Austin are just all hills, and then, like, the last like, right before you end, you have to go up this really steep hill on Congress, and then that's the finish line, and I'm like I
Okay.
was just walking it in because I was like, "I can't do that."
Yeah. No, literally, you're like, here I am.
Yeah, and then I trained all, summer and then ran a marathon in the fall, and I was hoping to break 4 because I learned more about fueling and everything.
Right.
And then, like, halfway through the marathon, I guess just, like, the fatigue of the year caught up to me, and I was like, "I don't know if I can do this," and I finished in, like, 4 hours and 25. And,
Yeah.
yeah, 2 marathons a year is a lot, and halves are fun because 'cause they're just, like, you can run 13 miles, do something hard, maybe take a nap right afterward, and then you're good for the rest of the day.
Yeah. Well, and my biggest thing is, crowd support. Like, I cannot stress that enough. So, like, if you live in a community and you know they're doing a big race, like, go out there for an hour or two, crowd support. And I will say, like, that's what I look for at races. So it's like doing a marathon. I don't find it, I mean, who finds it enjoyable? But it's like it would be more enjoyable if there was enough crowd support along the whole path, you know? And for us, it was in the beginning through the neighborhoods, kind of towards the end. And that was it. And people talk about go do New York City, go do Chicago, but it's like I don't have the urge to do those, even though I heard they're great and stuff, just because like everyone does that. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Like if I'm gonna go do San Antonio and stuff, like I want to go do San Antonio, but, like, if there's no crowd support, it's, like, it's kinda tough to, like, find excitement to push yourself through those miles. Like, a half marathon, my husband's like, "I got all the crowd support during the whole half." And I was like, "Well, it must be nice because once I think either people came by or once they kinda got towards, like, the slower people and stuff like that, people were kind of fizzling out. And
yeah,
so it's like it sucks because people I feel like don't realize like crowd support truly means a lot to anyone and everyone.
yeah,
Walkers, non-walkers, stuff like that. And I don't know, that's why I'm like, I think I have one more marathon in me just to truly train, truly do what I need to do to get the time that I'm hoping to get.
yeah,
But a sweet spot is a half because it's still hard. It's still a good distance of miles, but like I feel like that's where you get the most. I mean, you can literally enjoy running a half marathon.
yeah, and, like, running a fast half is still as incredible as running a fast full,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, it's still a hard
Yes.
undertaking, you know? But for your next marathon, what are some things that you're looking to, like change? And like, what are some things that you learned from the past full that you're hoping to implement into the next?
So definitely, well, I didn't really skip any runs, but I definitely want to make sure like I'm taking like I took everything serious and stuff. But making sure, like, I truly am, obviously with Garmin, hitting the miles and hitting what I need.
Yeah.
My feeling was fine. I did my nugs and stuff. I did my salt tabs, and I carried a handheld water bottle with me with body health, like perfect aminos and stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
So thankfully, my fueling carried me. Um, but I think for me, like I truly, even just in general, not even for a marathon, is building up the strength. Like building up the strength that I need in my quads, my hammies, my legs, um, to help me run better. And I think that's the toughest thing is just I just from a weight loss to now, when I did my weight loss, I was like running every single day and I wasn't strength training. I did not know like I needed muscles to run, you know? And once I got my injury, I went to PT. They're like, A, you're running too much. B, you need a rest day. C, you need to eat a little bit more calories. And then also you need to strength train. And I was like, oh. And
Yeah.
so I started strength training and running less, but then I'm like, well, I feel like I still need to run a little bit more, you know, so finding the balance between the two.
Yeah.
Um, but definitely the strength training for sure is like my key goal from like now up until whenever, because I do want to feel somewhat better on running, you know. And I mean, I had a calendar. I made sure not to miss a long run.
Yeah.
I made sure to do races to help with long runs. Um, but I was kind of bummed thinking I did 22 miles and doing 18. I mean, it's like
Hmm.
could have got like because in my head it said I did 22 miles and 3.5 hours. So I'm like, I could go an extra 4 miles and get a sub four.
Yeah.
And then knowing that I only went 18 and 3.5, I'm like, now it kind of all makes sense
Yeah.
what my pace and timing was. So I can't say take that more seriously because I took it about as seriously
Sure.
as I would do working full time and all of that.
Yeah.
Um, but strength training is the biggest thing for me, and I still try to work on that as
Yeah.
much as possible. And muscle doesn't grow overnight as
Right.
much as I wish it did.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I follow you now on Instagram and you do a lot of strength work and I even found myself like taking some notes because like strength
Yeah.
strength stuff is such a underrated, undervalued thing for runners. Like I did a lot more strength work for my last marathon and I was, not bonking at mile 20 and I'm like,
Right.
you know, previous marathons, I'd feel it in my hips and in my calves and everything, and
Yeah.
I'm strong enough for this. And so I did a lot
Mhm.
more deadlift work, a lot more like, squats and, one-legged stuff, and it truly makes a difference. Just, focusing on that on the strength and on the muscles that help you spring, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and for me, it's like I do the same workout. I do the same leg workout, the same ab workout, the same arm workout because when I was reading on it, because I was trying to like, I was like, okay, I'm kind of getting bored, you know? And whenever I was reading on it, they say, you know, you need to do the same workout routine and then you need to up your reps till failure. And I was like, oh, okay. And so I was like, well, that makes sense because if you're doing the same workout routine, you're doing the same muscles, you up your weight, that's how you're going to help build those muscles that you've been working on. Because if you change your workout, like you go do squats or whatever, and then the next day you do something else, you're working out two totally different types of muscles to where they're not gonna like, I don't want to say grow as much, but they're not, you know, you're not focusing on one thing, you know.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like quads, hamstrings, calves, all of that. So I do the same routine and up my weight
Mhm.
just so I know, like, okay, you know, I can't go up and wait until failure. And squats are hard for me just because of my knees.
Yeah.
Um, and honestly, I'm not as flexible as I thought I was. It could just be from over the time of running and not stretching properly, which is what I've had to learn too, that my hips just don't go as low as I need to. And so then I'm like, okay, like what's an alternative? You
Yeah.
know, what's something else? And so this past week, I was like, I'm gonna do Pilates. I'm gonna go home, do some free weights, do Pilates. And I was so bored doing it because I'm like, I don't feel anything. Like I'm not. this is boring. I'm not feeling any like burn. I'm not feeling like
Yeah.
anything. If I were to do it every day, probably. So I was like, I'm going back to my old workouts.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense. And it's also kind of a weird balance too, because like, I sometimes will do CrossFit as well.
Oh, yeah.
And when I go to the gym, I don't get as much like a whole lot of stimulus from it. You know what I mean? I'll go out and
Right.
the weight workouts and like I'm done. I'm like, oh, I feel like I did anything. And then I'll go to CrossFit and I'll do their workout for an hour, and afterward I'm like, I, I'm
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
it's finding that balance is a really hard thing as well.
Yes.
Yeah, but, well, cool. Well, I think that's everything that I wanted to ask you. Thank you so much for coming on and, sharing everything about the Girls Who Run DFW. I think that's such a cool thing that you're doing for the community there. Um, and if people want to join, so where can they go to join and answer the questionnaire?
So we have like so we have a Facebook page. So like if their husbands want to follow along kind of thing. And I kind of post stuff on there. We have an Instagram page, but our main page is a private Facebook group called Girls Who Run DFW. And it prompts you to answer like I think 3 or 4 questions and then I'll accept if they're filled out and stuff. Um and like I said, it's just like a safe space to like post, what to wear, what do people drink during people ask all types of questions and I post once a month what races that I will be at.
Yeah,
Because we normally try to get like a group of girls there. We do like a group photo, stuff like that. Other people will post what races they will be at. Just so it kind of helps people know, like, hey, these are the upcoming DFW races because there's so many. And it's like, I want to make sure they know, like, I'm at these races. So if they wanted to join, they know, like, okay, she's going to be there. Or like someone else is doing another one. Okay, that person's going to be there to where you kind of know people.
mhm,
Um, and we also do have discount codes too with a lot of the race companies. So Irving and Dallas Athlete Racing. We have one for a trail run. So we have a lot for a variety of just, run project, all that without throughout DFW.
that's awesome. Cool. Well, thank you so much for coming. Is there anything else that you'd like to, my one question, 2 questions, that I like to ask before I, leave everyone. First off, if you could give somebody a reason to go for a run today, what would it be?
I would say to go for a run today. I tell people, like, if you've never run, go outside and honestly do your stretches and stuff, but just start running. Just like free running, like not like you're trying to go fast, not like someone's chasing you. Like, just go out, let your arms loose, and like just go run. And like, I don't know, something between the cold weather and the sun hitting you, like you literally just feel free.
Yeah,
And so that's what I tell people to do. Like, just go start there. And then if you only run for 30 seconds, then you run for 30 seconds, go walk a minute and then do it again. But like, it's just so like, it literally, I don't know. I feel like it's just so freeing when you just step outside and you're just like, like a fresher breath air, literally.
yeah, yeah, it's like, every time I walk outside, even if it's freezing cold or if it's 90 degrees out, like, just starting the run, I'm like, "Ah," I feel so good, like, just
Yeah.
being out in nature and getting the vitamin D and
Yeah.
leaving, it's no other feeling like it.
Yeah.
And then my last question is, do you know of any runners that you would think would be a really have a good story to tell on the podcast? I'm always looking for some Texas runners to get on here.
Let's see. Do you know who Stephanie is?
Is she the co-founder of the run club? I saw a
No.
quote.
No, Stephanie, she's another running influencer.
Okay,
She's really big with like some of the brands take her out. I can send your Instagram.
okay,
She's part of like Social Run Club, and stuff like that.
yeah.
She actually like I started following her on social media, and then her son transferred to Arkansas for football.
Oh,
And then when I literally found out that she lives across the street from me. And so we run together and stuff. And so that's like how running brought us together.
yeah.
Um, she's really great, and there's another lady that I follow, and I don't know, I think she's in South Texas, but I would have to double check, but I think she won the Cowtown Ultra maybe
Oh,
last
wow.
year
Cool.
or one of the races because now I think she had an injury, so she took off running and now she's kind of bodybuilding.
Yeah.
So she kind of switched her dynamic for now, I guess, because of her injury. But I follow her and I think she won Cowtown Ultra. If not, she won a Disney race.
Okay.
She won one of the races I've been at, and I was just like, "How did you do that?
Yeah.
Like, how?" But I think she's in South Texas, maybe.
Okay, cool. If it was a Cowtown Ultra, that's crazy. That race is a beast because I mean, like, there's a lot of hills
And
out.
it's not. There's another lady I follow that might have won it. It's one of them, but I don't think she lives in Texas and stuff. But yeah, seeing like the female runners run like Cowtown, I'm like,
Yeah.
how? And like I see some people run like literally marathons, and I'm like, y'all be running like my half marathon. Like,
Yeah, I know.
how do y'all do it? I'm like, I'm hurting for y'all. Like, don't act like you're not hurt. And that's what I try to tell people. Like, if you're gonna run a marathon, if you're gonna run a half or whatever, and whether you're an elite or whatever, like even if you finish it,
Yeah.
please like video how you feel after because I feel like everyone thinks like they see that person win,
Yeah.
you know, that half marathon or they win the marathon or whatever, and they're like, man, like how do you do it? You look like you're not out of breath. You look like you don't hurt. And it's like in reality, share like you are hurting. Share that, your feet do have blisters because it's like, I feel like that's what everyone looks for nowadays. Like, why do you like, you look at the elites and you're like, y'all aren't even like dying, you
No.
know? But then they get to the finish line, they like pass out because they're tired, they
Yeah.
like sit down. So
Yeah.
for me, it's like some people be like, well, you don't even look like you broke a sweat. And I'm like, I might have not broken a sweat, but I think everything else in me is broken, like,
Broken your
sorry.
That's
Like, sorry I didn't like sweat, but I promise you, like I'm broken.
yeah. That's
So yeah, I know Stephanie for sure. Um, Maybe even I think Jeanette, she founded Social Run Club, which is in Fort Worth and stuff. I went to one of their runs and stuff, and they have a good group, and they're just being females and stuff, so welcoming. I mean, their group is a mixture, but they're just so welcoming when it comes to like if you're new, versus um if you're not. Theo, he is with Run It Up Run Club. They're a pretty good run club. They're a mix of males and females, and he runs and stuff too. But seeing his culture and what they do. One thing that they do that I really love is after a group run, whoever finishes is first kind of thing, they all start to line up. And as people finish, they all high five the people coming in.
cool.
And they do that to like the very last person comes in. And that's neat because we do a group run once a month and it might not be 50 people, it might just be 10 people that show up, but it is hard to make sure you're accommodating everyone when you're just a one man show
Yeah.
you know? And so I want people to come join us. We have different paces. We have other people that will walk if you want to walk. So it's not like we're just running. Um, but if you're like, well, like, run it up, they do it every Tuesday, Sunday, Saturday kind of thing, like I'm one of the ones where it's like, I'm not offended if you go join Run It Up. Like I
Mhm.
am partnering with these other run clubs in DFW to give y'all other options. Like I will do one once a month. Ours is female only. That's what makes it different. But if you want to do more, or if, Run It Up is closer to you, or social run clubs closer to you, like that's what this is for. Like I'm trying to help y'all, like be like, give you more information on what's going on in our community and what's truly out there for everyone. So those three are good ones, and I can send you their Instagram too.
Awesome. Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you. Well, thank you so much for coming on and
Yeah.
sharing your story. And I appreciate, how genuine you are and how you do show,
Thank you.
not only the good and uplifting parts, but the parts where you're like really struggling. That's
Yeah.
physically or emotionally, mentally emotional. You know what I mean? So um,
Yeah.
really appreciate that. Really appreciate you coming on, and hopefully I see you at Austin at the half. It'd be
Yeah.
great.
We We will be there. We're gonna do the shakeout run on Friday because BPN's hosting it.
Oh, cool.
And I think I just have like a feeling that I'm probably gonna meet Matt Johnson. I'm like hoping he's there because he's in Austin and I follow along when he was running across Texas and
Yeah.
stuff. And man, just to talk to him, because even though he is a male athlete, and I'm not comparing myself to him, but when you watch his vlogs and stuff of him traveling across Texas, he shows the good, the bad, the ugly. I mean,
Mm.
it's just crazy what the body can do
Yeah.
and like what it can do even when you are like at your very end, like your muscles are really gone. And I mean, it's crazy. So I'm hoping Friday, like during the BPN, like hopefully he makes an appearance while we're down there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and that's cool.
That's what I'm hoping.
I'd love to meet him too. I had reached out to him during um, his run across Texas, and I just
Yeah.
said, like, keep it up, and you're a big inspiration. And I think he had asked me because he had seen a post that I've been about my mom who she's got cancer and had taken a turn for the worse recently. I think he asked me about it, and I kind of told him, and he was like, "All right, well, I'm gonna run this next mile for your mom." And I was like, "Dude, that's
That's cool.
incredible."
Yeah, he's
So
I've never met him, but he seems just to be like a genuine person, where, he has a story to tell, that many can relate to, even if you weren't like in, the serving of it.
yeah,
But just seeing him, me and my husband watched him, and I'm just like, dude, like he's such an inspiration to everyone because of like just his journey. Like
yeah,
wakes up, shows his training, shows the good, shows the bad. I mean, he's crying on his YouTube channel saying like, my Achilles, like just all of that. Now, granted, don't push, through an injury, but
yeah.
he's just cool. Another one you can reach out to, I can see his Instagram. His name is Dalton.
Okay.
I met him through the running community too. He has he has done the BPN Go One More Ultra. He's an ultra runner, very genuine person. But he lost his brother to suicide, and so he has kinda a race. I think they do once a year. I think they did one in New York, maybe. Where his family's from, I think. And then I know he just did one here recently. Um, but it's for, suicide awareness and stuff like that. So he has a pretty cool story to tell too that, I follow along and I support him, he supports us
Yeah,
and whatnot.
that's awesome. Well, cool. Thank
I'll
you so
send him
much.
on your way.
Definitely, yeah, thank you. Thank you for listening to another episode of Through Their Stride. Please subscribe to this podcast or give it a follow, leave a review, and share with someone who loves running. If you know someone who's got a great running story or you have one of your own, send me a message at throughtheirstride@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you. I mean, I'm always trying to get guests on this podcast, and I think that's one of the most fun parts about it is just sharing y'all's stories of running, y'all's journeys. Every runner has a story to tell, and I really love telling it. So, thank you so much. Thanks for listening. See you out there.